Go. I'm never going to not laugh at that now.
Yeah, I did previous to this one, I did a client testimonial, and it caught me off guard because I hit it and it's like, the meeting has started. And I'm like, oh shit, where did this come from? Oh yeah, remember this does this now. Okay. All right. So drum roll, please. Woo! Welcome to the Buff and Shuck show.
Is it actually on Facebook?
It is, yeah.
It's just showing that it's recording.
He is Colonel Shuckles. I am first name Buff, last name Gandhi, and we are doing this podcast. And you can watch this or don't. We don't really give a shit either way. For the most part, so that you know, the only reason why we do this is so that we entertain ourselves. And
Yes,
if you happen to be entertained by us, that's a plus. But if you're not, we don't care. So, anyways, how you doing there, Colonel Shuckles?
I am almost to the apartment.
Okay, so I want to preface this by the conversation that him and I had. We had a few. We won't tell all the ones that we just had, but so the reason why we're late here today is because this guy over here went to Whole Foods and ordered a pizza in which they told him that would be 20 minutes. And so he went back and they forgot about him. He's hard to forget about. I don't know how they did that, but that's neither here nor there. But I asked him, is that the universe's way of saying not to eat pizza? And of course, him being him, okay, quick-witted and on his feet, he's like, no, it's the universe's way of teaching me patience. So there you go. Again, you could look at any situation in any which way you want to. So, okay.
How do you frame it?
Uh-oh.
We got something to talk about.
All right. What do we got to talk about?
His name is LeBron James, and he didn't shake his best friend, Chris Paul's hand last night.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Give me a little bit of runway here. Okay. I was in Cleveland the day after LeBron announced on national TV, in all the parade and the pomp and circumstances and the whole egomaniac show that he had. I was in Cleveland the day after. Okay. We had 2 gyms in Cleveland. I actually like Cleveland. You would have thought the president died or worse. I mean, that city was so distraught that he left. Here's my opinion about LeBron. LeBron is an extremely talented basketball player. Okay? That goes without saying. LeBron also is a good-hearted individual. He does lots of good things for charity. He has his own charity. He wants to make sure kids get an education. He wants to make sure the kids have great male influences. I think that is to be commended in any which way possible. I also think that LeBron James has a lot of insecurities, as we all do. I do. He does. Everybody else does. Okay, we all do. Some of us choose to venture down the road of overcoming those insecurities. I think LeBron has let his ego get so big that he can't get past certain things. And it's evident in which, I put the post up today, the greatest of all time is not supposed to lose in the first round, to which a bunch of people said Michael Jordan lost in the first round the first 3 times that he went to the playoffs. Here's the difference, people. Okay, if you want to argue, you want to get on your little keyboard and argue, that's fine. Okay, but I'm here to tell you this. Okay, yes, literally speaking, there's contradiction in my statement. What I meant by it is this: at the level that LeBron James is at the skill level that LeBron James is at all the players that he is surrounded, you're not supposed to lose in the first round. You're also not supposed to walk off the court before the game's over, because all that does is make you seem like a little bitch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I said that. I meant it. So I guess I can't be sorry. Whoopsies. And then not shaking your good buddy who you go on vacation with's hand at the end of the game. Now, okay, you could say, well, it's because of COVID. Well, you guys just literally played a basketball game together where you're all over each other, and you don't want to shake his hand at the end.
Mhm.
Okay. I want to also say this. Okay. I want LeBron James to stand up to the atrocities that happen in that country that we won't name because I don't want this to get pulled in the child labor. I just want him to do that. If he would do that, I would be so happy with LeBron. I would buy a LeBron t-shirt, LeBron jersey. I'd wear a LeBron hat. I may even buy LeBron shoes. But he won't do that. Again, I think as a human being, he's a fantastic person. I think his insecurities get the best of him, and he acts childish. Is probably the better word I should have used instead of the word that I did use.
It's you can paint it however you want it if you're a LeBron fan, but the actions that he did the last two games, the fact that he left the court and they're like that was treatment, and then the fact that he didn't shake his friends' hands and left the court before they did that, like. But then there's pictures posted of him like exchanging jerseys with Devin Booker, and I'm like, it's still important to act in the heat of the moment. We all mess up, but like when you have the platform that he has, I think the reason it bothers me so much is I truly know, like you said, like I would buy all this stuff, but I like I said earlier to you, I was like, I really think LeBron James could create more social change than the president does. Like he has that enormous of a social presence and following. So I think when there are companies that are exposing child labor in China. Oh shoot, shouldn't say that. But they're exposing child labor in these countries, and there's actually, I mean, one of his best friends, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler. There's a few others. Klay Thompson. They have a sponsorship through a company called like Lee or something like that. It's a Chinese athletic apparel company. And when this happened, when essentially where Nike got exposed in 2020 for having all these places, they were like, first of all, the way that Nike worded it was like disgusting. They essentially didn't say, we're going to stop this production of getting cotton from this area. We are actually just going to reduce it and reduce it and reduce it. We're going to like level back a little bit and a little bit. And I was like, well, that's really messed up. But to make the point, this company have the sponsorship for, they actually said, nah, because of Chinese nationalism, we're going to double down. We're going to make them work even harder. They're going to work even longer. We're going to get more kid slaves, more Uyghur slaves, which are Muslim slaves in China. So they brought in more labor force, and they were like, we're going to double down because we love China so much. And I was like, isn't it crazy how different like nationalism is in America versus China? Like, we're not. It's just so crazy to see the difference between the countries, and it's really sad to me to see that these athletes have the potential to make this enormous social impact. To be like, hey, we're not going to stop social injustice in America and help to do that, but we're literally going to stop slavery in this country potentially, like literally slavery. And to be able to have that sort of platform is pretty incredible. I think that's what scares me about the NBA and the NFL is just knowing that those people could make a bigger impact if they would just do some research and like look around and say, you know, I do see that I can make $1 billion in a lifetime, but it's like, that's blood money. That's literally blood money. Like, how do you feel about the dollars? Like, oh my gosh. And in around, people probably don't know this. We've talked about it before, but the batteries in our phones, the batteries in the cars that they're pumping up, that all this stuff's going to be happening. Little kids mine that, lithium mined batteries. So, I mean, we're all hypocrites in some way. It's just knowing that we can I'm trying to make an impact to change that, though. I'm trying to see that we can stop like doing stuff like that. And I think that's why it bothers me so much to see people with that sort of enormous platform that they're condoning it. They're literally saying, yes, I will accept this millions and millions of dollars from you even though the labor was from a little kid.
You know, I really feel for LeBron sometimes because I've been very critical of him over a long period of time, and I've said a lot of stupid things that I probably wouldn't say. You know, just being spiteful, just because I I, I hold my allegiance to Michael Jordan. Okay, I just do. Um,
I'm kind of the same
I
way.
grew
Been the
I grew
same.
up in the era
Yeah.
where I saw him perform, you know, at a very pivotal point in my life where I could remember it, you know. And when you have this comparison game, which I think Michael actually has done a really good job of really going and saying, you know, you really can't compare my era to Jerry West, to Wilt Chamberlain, to Kareem, to this and that. And it's true. You can't. I mean, this whole, you know, I had a conversation with a buddy on Facebook today about, you know, it's pointless to have this goat talk, and it is pointless. But
Mhm.
there, I just see someone like LeBron, and I agree with you. He can have so much impact, and he has a lot of impact. I mean, he's done
He does. He does a
in
lot
the
of great stuff still.
in the city of Akron. He has done
Mhm.
phenomenal things that I think he should be absolutely recognized for. And I apologize to him personally that I haven't always recognized the things that he has done, because it's, you know, it isn't just about the things you haven't done, it's about the things that you have done. And but this one thing here, I think his childishness sometimes takes away from how great of a person he can be. And then this topic of the child trafficking and child, I just can't get down with that. And you know, I'm
He called a guy, Daryl Morey, the GM of the Rockets, who graduated from MIT. Obviously, not intelligent person. He's very intelligent. If you graduate from MIT, it doesn't matter if your dad or mom pays millions of dollars. Like, you're probably still pretty intelligent.
yeah,
Um, but so this guy is like a numbers freak. He's all about the numbers. He's like a efficiency master. And so LeBron James, this Daryl Morey guy is like, what's happening in China is like obscene, and like there are being people exposed in democracies that are within the borders of China that are being like, people are being literally killed and slaughtered. And when he said that, the Chinese government was literally like, we're going to block the NBA because you said that. And then LeBron's like, that guy's an idiot. Why would he say that? And it's like, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, if you have like, that's where he needs to put himself in the shoes of the little Chinese kid or the little Uyghur kid that is in a slave camp. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why that bothers me so much. It's like, how can he literally call someone stupid for calling someone out about that? Like, that is like,
right.
what?
I think sometimes
Absolutely mind.
we myself included are really naive sometimes, and I'll even say sometimes I'm ignorant to some of the things that go on in this world, that I don't dive deep enough into it because I don't listen to the news, because I think it's all bullshit. And then, you know, I don't, I've done a better job personally of trying to, you know, the whole trafficking thing. I've really gone in on that and try to learn as much as I can. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, what happens in this world, there's a lot of atrocities that do happen. And I think that people who are, you know, want change, I think sometimes need to draw more attention to these that would impact you financially. I mean, if LeBron were to do that, that would impact him financially, but it would be the right thing to do. And
Greatly.
I'm not here to
It
tell
would
LeBron.
greatly impact him.
I'm not here to tell LeBron James what he should or shouldn't do.
It maybe even would reduce his net worth by half.
Right, but
Honestly,
you know,
it could reduce his net worth by half.
his legacy in life, you know, his karma, you know, as you know, in
Mm-hmm.
you know, certain religions would, you know, be enhanced. But that's neither here nor there. So I just want to make sure that this.
Well,
is
he's
clear.
like, he's joking.
Go ahead.
He's like joking about, instead of being in the Olympics, he's gonna be hanging out with like Tweety Bird and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I bet those little kids in China would like that, but they can't because they're in enslavement camp. So I'm like,
I don't know. I'm not saying LeBron James shouldn't be in movies either, but I'm just like, it's like you got time to do this stuff. You can help. And I guess he's just like, it's like the whole ideology of this problem is not in my backyard, so it's not my problem. And I think that's why our country is the way it is. So it's strange when people are like, we need to be more aware of these issues that are going on in our country. But I'm like, we're unaware of so many issues. But like, how are you going to call me like insensitive when I don't know about this issue, when you don't know about this issue? Like, you know what I mean? And I guess we're all hypocrites to an extent.
All of us.
What's the great philosopher? I can't remember his name, but
Hippocrates?
he's just talking about how literally Hippocrates, yes, Hippocrates.
This is where the word comes from.
Yeah, which totally makes sense. Hippocrates. So we all have that inherent potential to be a hypocrite, but it just drives me nuts. I'm like, you actually can make a huge impact. It's different if you couldn't. Like Austin Shuck can sit here and talk shit about LeBron James because I can't make the impact. And I think that what drives me so nuts is I'm like, if I had this platform, that is what I would attack. Like, certainly, I would be like, whoa, no, you just can't watch my basketball then. I'm not giving you my skill if I don't believe in what you believe in. Like, I don't care if you don't like me. Like you said, don't watch our show if you don't like our ideas. Like I'm not doing this for anybody else, straight up. If you think that we're entertaining and that we have a good time, then that's cool. But if you don't, then sorry about it. Like, don't listen to my podcast. Don't listen to Buff's talks. Like, it's just, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it to help people. And at the end of the day, like, that's what the impact I'm trying to do to make. So I think that's why I'm literally like, plus, man, the skill, like, here's what I always say. I truly believe LeBron James is absolutely pound for pound, probably the most skilled athlete of all time. It's just like, the dude's 6'8", he is 250, and he runs like a 4.4. He can jump like a 40-inch vertical, and like he does all the things that you're like, wow, like you would love for an athlete to do. But I still think Jordan just made such a bigger impact, and I think he's more important to the game of basketball. I think it's like evident. Everybody's like trying to be like Mike. There's no one that's like, there are kids, certainly, they're like, I want to be as good as LeBron James, but there's no one that's like living that. You know what I mean? They're not like, I got to be as good as LeBron James. But dude, when The Last Dance came out, I did more of my my podcast work and stuff since that came out because I was so inspired by what Jordan's just like tenacity and just craziness to be like, I refuse to lose. And, you know, sometimes I don't have that indomitable will to the extent that he has, but trying to develop that. And it's kind of to touch on what you said. It's like MJ did lose in the first round, like his first 3 years, but he's freaking a little kid. It's like, but when he refined that skill and got to be the GOAT, like he wasn't self-proclaiming like, I'm the king, I'm King James. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan was never saying that shit. He was just putting it in on the court. And LeBron James is like, we're not going to win 2. We're not going to win 3. We're not going to win 4. He's not even won. Has he even won 5? Has he won 5 yet? No, he hasn't.
I think it's 4. I think he's won 4. Yeah. He's won 4.
Yeah, I think his last one was his 4th.
With three different teams.
He won 2 with Miami, 1 with Cleveland, and 1 with Lakers. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like,
dude, don't proclaim yourself the king if you're not going to back it up. That's all I'm saying. If you're the king, you should be stopping social injustices and you should be winning championships.
The media, the media anointed him the king, and then he accepted it, and then he spout off and said, when he made that block on Andre Iguodala, that play made him the greatest player of all time. And
he said that. I mean, it was. I mean, you can argue
it's fantastic
the greatest play in NBA history.
No, the greatest play in NBA history. Tayshaun Prince made the same play against Reggie Miller. I mean, it didn't have the same circumstances, but he made the same play against
the greatest play. I mean, it was in the championship.
I get it, but so I mean, Jordan. I mean, the last shot that Jordan had is the Chicago Bulls. I mean, he just standing there. I mean, I watched it live.
I think with Jordan, it's like we're so used to it being an offensive effort, though. That's why it was just like
he was defensive player of the year.
I know he's like getting cookies all the time and getting rebounds. I know, I get it. Like Michael Jordan is one of I think he's the GOAT. But I just I feel like if you made Michael Jordan play, I mean, he also was really good at baseball, so I can't be like if you made him play another sport, he might not be as good. But I just think if you literally were like LeBron James play Michael Jordan in every sport and their peak athleticism, those are probably two of the greatest athletes of all time, straight up, not just basketball players. They're strong as hell. They can jump out of the gym. They were fast. They were smart. That's the difference between all of them, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, as far as like their capacity to be so great, is a lot of people have that skill, but it's like they have the mind to like make the skill be even better. So I think that killer tenacity is the difference of what makes them be legends. But at the end of the day, I think that little bit more that Kobe and Michael had over LeBron is what made them so much more savage. Because sometimes I'm just like, even though I'm talking about like the social injustices LeBron does in attack, I'm still just like, he's not a killer.
Kobe's
not a killer.
I want the ball in Kobe's hand before I want the ball in LeBron's hand. But
yeah,
it doesn't matter because none of them played for UK.
I hate them all. Dude, we're going to be good next year.
We're going to be solid. We're going to be consistent. I don't know if Cal can take it to the end, but if you're watching this.
We got Antigua back, bro.
If you're watching
Cal's
this,
definitely watching this.
Cal, listen, we've met many times, okay? I appreciate your work that you've done for us, winning one national title, but I want to win another one before
we need a few more of them.
I want to win another one before I die. Okay, so
I want Cal to go down as the greatest coach of all time.
That's never going to happen.
So he needs to win like 2 more ships.
It's never going to happen, man.
2 more ships, Cal. 2 more ships.
Okay.
If he wins 2 more, I think he goes down as the best. I know that people might not like that over Coach K.
No,
but I'm like,
John Wooden.
Like one less championship than Coach K.
John Wooden is the greatest.
Oh my God, he cheated. He paid everybody.
That's what they all did.
Bank account.
Well, you're talking about
Cal.
Cal.
Else is doing that. Then he started it.
Cal that has 2 transgressions against him, right?
Cal's playing within the. But he's playing within the game of what everyone else is playing. The Mafia already set the deck, bro. I
love these arguments that we get into about sports. It's like, well, no, but this, but that, but this, but that. Yeah, okay. Now, okay, let's try. You want to talk about skill sets? Since we're talking about coaching and basketball playing, what about skill sets? Did you want to discuss there, Colonel?
It's just really important to find a skill set that you think will resonate the greatest value in your life. And if you're really, really intrinsically like drawn to something, then you should probably build that skill. And so many times people are like, oh, I suck at math. I need to be better at math. Let's work at math. And it's like, well, what if you just got better? Like math is obviously not your skills. So why are you trying to be good at it? And I'm not saying you can't be, because like the post I had earlier, like, we can truly, like, the world is a matrix and we can program our life to be what we want it to be, but you can only choose so many things that you want to like truly like master. And really you can probably only truly master like one skill, like truly. Right. But you can kind of pursue probably up to 3, maybe 4. But people that are like, I want to be a painter and I want to be a musician and I want to be like a podcaster and I want to be all this, it's really hard because there's really only so many hours in the day that we can do. And it's like the whole New Year's resolution thing. It's like, here's my intention. I want to do this. I want to make this happen. But it's like, you're wasting your time on setting this goal that you're not, straight up that you're not going to follow through with. So instead of that, I've really found that my skill is like community building or being social. And using these social skills has brought value to my life.
Yeah.
People would be like, how do you be social and make money? Or how do you be social and like provide for yourself? And I'm like, well,
have you ever heard of sales?
Within my story.
Have you ever heard of sales? Sales is all about being social.
Yeah, exactly. And I took that skill and applied it to everything and was like, like I might not be a master at this, but how can I use my social skills to bring someone into my life that can make me at least better at that or can help me with this issue? Or I don't know this person and I want to fight Matt Jones, who also this guy has been in the hospital. I found the catalyst for how we get it to happen. He's had blood pressure issues and he's been in the hospital. So to save his heart, he's got to get his head rung by Austin Shuck. So he's got to get fit to fight me. Fit to fight Shuckles. Matt Jones, I know you're listening. Get that heart healthy and let's have a philanthropy boxing or MMA fight.
Bless America.
But social skills. I'm probably going to make it happen just based off social skills.
You keep challenging him. You're going to have.
But the point of this is that we all need to build our skills, and that the odds are is that we already have the skill. We truly already have it. It's just you have to dive into that craft and you have to dive into that passion. And when I was a little kid, I was announcing football games. Like I obviously was drawn to that, so it would make sense that I would go into broadcasting or would do podcast or do public speaking or motivational speaking or something along those lines, because
coaching
age like 12. What about coaching?
That's part of it.
Or coaching to help people. Yes. As I can break down with the experiences I've had and the social skills and the communication skills I have, I'm able to resonate and bring value to people's lives and to help digest things. Honestly, that's the biggest thing, is just helping to simplify things.
Yep.
I'm not saying I'm a smart guy, but I'm a thoughtful person. So a lot of things that happen in life that a lot of people don't take time to question, I'm just like, you should probably question that, or like look at and examine it at least. Like it might not be wrong, but it's like it would be not right for us to not make sure. That's what science literally is to question the current state and to provide a hypothesis and then a solution to the issue. If you don't so it's crazy today that we get questioned for questioning things. I'm like, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Like, doesn't that mean something's really going wrong if we're questioned for questioning today?
You're a conspiracy theorist if you question things. And what's a conspiracy theorist anyway? I mean,
I don't know.
Like,
it's just someone who doesn't believe something and they're like, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Just because CNN and Fox News and your local news station told you that this is a story and this is the way it happened, does not mean you have to believe it. You can ask questions. We don't ask enough damn questions.
Maybe that's your skill set. Maybe that is your skill set, is you're willing to ask the question. What's your skill set? What's your main skill that you bring to the table?
I count to 10. No. I think my best.
A lot of people can.
I think my best skill set is the ability to have emotional intelligence with humans and to be able to ask questions to get to a result, whatever that may be. I think maybe that's my strongest suit. And I think that's always been my strongest suit, because people as long as I can remember have always told me things about themselves that they say they don't tell every other person, right? I mean, I'll never forget when I was like 19, there's a girl I was working with at Goody's Family Clothing. She came up to me and told me this really personal story to herself. And she's like, I don't know why I'm telling you.
Shout out to Goody's.
Yeah, shout out to Goody's. I don't know why I'm telling you this, Josh, but like, I just feel compelled that like, I trust you enough to say this to you. And I was like, okay, well, all right. And then you follow back up and ask, well, how's that going? Or is there anything I can do to best support you? Blah, 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 I mean, maybe that's my best skill set. I don't know. It's either that or counting to 10. I'm the greatest counting personal trainer of all time.
If you are watching this, tell us below what your greatest skill is. And if you're not, I don't give a shit. But if you are, comment below what your greatest skill is.
What's your best?
We're trying to encourage people to build these skills and get better.
That's awesome. See, we're getting people interactive. We need to do a better job of this. So shout out to you for doing that. But yes, what is your best skill set? And not only in that, and if you want to go back to the previous topic of conversation about LeBron, listen, I'm not here to get into a keyboard warrior arguing back and forth about shit. I'm just not going to do that with you. So if that's what you want to do here, you'll do that by yourself. Okay.
I will.
He will. I will not.
Trash all day about LeBron and Michael.
I will not. I will not get into those things. But if you would like to drop, maybe a different perspective that you have without being argumentative, okay, there's enough nastiness in this world. Do that as well. So give us your skill, what you feel like your number one skill is, and then, maybe your commentary about LeBron. Maybe you have a different perspective, and I'm willing to listen to it or read it. I may not listen to it.
Do you think LeBron's the best, or do you think Michael's the best? Do you think Kobe's the best?
Do you even think there is a best? Do you think there even is a best?
Is there even a basketball? Why are we listening?
Does basketball exist?
Basketball on a floating space rock. Not if we're in a matrix. Technically, just a program.
Are you trying to say that?
What's so crazy to think about?
What?
I mean, is the fact that our brain is able to capacitate what sound is, what flavor is, like taste, what vision is, like all of our senses. It's so crazy because our brain is a floating vat. It's a floating vat, essentially. It's light. It's always dark in there, but it knows everything that's going on in the world. How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Our brain is so powerful. It's really so crazy to think about that.
It is.
The capacity that our brain has.
It never even sees the outside world to know what it actually is, because it's in a floating like that.
These are the things that Austin thinks about at night.
Do you
What?
know that sunlight, so essentially the creation of electricity, or at least light, is one of the main reasons why our sleep patterns have gotten so bad.
It's because it creates a false system of belief that it's sunlight. So our body's like, you need to be awake because it's sunlight. You need to be foraging. You need to be hunting. You need to be building a place for shelter because we were cavemen. But this is so interesting. You could be completely covered up and dark, and just the back of your knee alone being exposed to sunlight would make you wake up. Because we have photoreceptors all over our body. And I was just like, that's so crazy. You would just think like it would just be your face, because that's what it's vision.
It's more of a visionary thing for me. I can't sleep as well if it's not completely dark.
It's just so interesting that our body is that intelligent.
One of your skill sets is to be able to bring these things that people don't know to light. That's one of your skill sets.
Random facts.
Random facts that people don't consider. So,
I smoked a lot of weed in college and had lots of time to think about stuff.
Hey, by the way, we should legalize that here in the state of Kentucky. Okay. I mean, I would
definitely agree. We were invited to be a state because of it, for God's sake.
It's our number one cash crop since 1792. Okay.
And it's illegal.
It's illegal in this state.
We've not been capitalizing off our number one cash crop.
But it's not illegal in other states. What does it make any sense? How could one thing be illegal in Kentucky, but if I go to Illinois, it's legal?
And then, but the thing is it might be the form that you're digesting it or smoking it or whatever, orally taking. I don't know. There's so many ways there's patches now. You can literally take it on your skin. There's lotions. There's freaking shampoos. There's weed shampoos. So, but it's so weird because, peekaboo. But we were literally invited to be the 15th state of America, and happy birthday to Kentucky. Just had her birthday a few days ago. But because I'm a Kentucky Colonel and I love the shit out of Kentucky. And so that's why those things fire me up. That's why I want Kentucky to be 35th in health.
35th,
because
as opposed to 49th.
Yeah, well, we're 45th or worse. It's pretty much 48th in like all of them. West Virginia and like Arkansas or Mississippi is usually the only two above us. Two or three.
We're not very good at health here.
It's not a lot to brag about.
No.
Yeah, that's why.
Even if we just improve to 35th, that's a major improvement. Like 10 ranks, but then hopefully freaking Mississippi and Arkansas and Tennessee and West Virginia, like, we're not going to let Kentucky beat us. Screw them. I'm like, hell yeah, now we're promoting health. This is what it's about. This is the real vaccine.
Oh God, he
We're
said
definitely
it.
getting pulled.
Yeah, we've mentioned a country we're not supposed to talk about and a thing that we're not supposed to talk about. But again,
Dude, does China own us? Is that why that's happening?
that's another podcast. That's another podcast for a
Damn, China owns us.
it owns certain things.
Dude, before we get off here, I will tell you the scariest thing in the world.
So TikTok just released this new thing. It is a cell phone, but we're also on a computer too. But TikTok just did a terms of agreement. And this is literally why I've never had it. I had a TikTok for one day and was like, this is addictive as AF. This is so unnatural for our brain to take in because it's literally going to make us even more addicted to dopamine than it already was. And so I'm like, I already got enough dopamine problems on my plate. Like, I don't need to add TikTok. But they just released a terms of agreement to where they are allowed to collect all of the data from your voice and from your face scanning. Guess who owns TikTok? Or
China.
guess where it's programmed? It's in China.
Yeah.
And they're doing social networking or social
Credit scores there. And a lot of it is based off facial recognition technology. And I'm like,
Here's the deal.
interesting that
Here's
many Americans have this.
Here's the deal. Okay. I just want to make sure that this is clear. Okay. I love the United States of America. Okay. Right here. My dad is a Vietnam veteran. Okay. My grandfather is a World War II veteran. My step grandfather is a World War II veteran. My other grandfather was a Korean War veteran. Okay. And I've known many people that have done the ultimate sacrifice to serve in the military of the United States of America. Okay. We as an American people are great people. God bless America. That's all I got to say. Okay.
I definitely agree.
All right. You got any?
I think
the people that paint the narrative to be otherwise
are people that are trying to destroy the fabrics of democracy.
Truly, I think
Right.
that is mind games created by Russia, by China,
And it's just like,
they want that to happen. And you don't think that there's government agencies that are working that aren't on the bill of China and Russia if they have that much money? I'm sure in America, or I'm sure in Russia and in China, we have the same thing going on. We have spies over there. So you're telling me you don't think they have spies here? All right. So we're definitely being influenced, and it's up to us. That's why question error and being thoughtful and critical thought is so important, because our government might even be infiltrated. And people are just so naive to the fact that at the end of the day, we're humans and that we are very easily manipulated and influenced. And in a great mass, the human is so much more stupid than in a small group of people. It's really crazy how stupid we act on social media. It's a great example of
We do act stupid.
idiotic we are as a country. And before we end, this is what we definitely got to talk about next week. The soy study that just came out about primates on long exposure of soy and how it makes them angry loners.
guess what we are?
Primates, and we consume lots of soy.
Not this guy. Not this guy. Okay. That's not
You're
from
conscious
soy.
of it though.
Okay. It's not from soy.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Dude, that's why when people are like, I'm eating these protein drinks, and I'm like, they're like, it's so good for me. I'm like, is it like a soy isolate, like protein isolate or whatever it's called?
Herbalife.
And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, it's not that healthy for you then.
Nah. I'm out on Herbalife.
If it has a soy protein in it, it's not that good. Is that what that's like made out of or something?
That's another
We'll talk about it
podcast.
next week.
I mean, we got like 3 podcasts that we could do in the next 3 weeks. Now I'm looking forward to that.
We've created some good content.
Listen, we say whatever the hell we want to say, and if we have to suffer the consequences by having the video pulled, it is what it is. So
It doesn't happen though. Somehow we keep talking about
it's because nobody's watching, because we keep telling people not to watch us. Or no, we keep telling people we don't care if they watch
as soon as
us.
we say we don't give a shit if you watch our show. And then they're like, I don't care if I watch it.
All right. Hashtag value. If you found value in this video, comment below. If hashtag America. Okay. Hashtag America. Hashtag
And
LeBron.
let us know about LeBron, Michael.
Yeah. Hashtag LeBron. Hashtag Michael. Hashtag Jerry West. Will Chamberlain. I mean, Will Chamberlain was a bad mamma jamma. Okay.
He really was.
Triple doubles, quadruple doubles.
Should Kobe be the logo?
I don't have a problem with that.
Me either. Even though I think it's Michael, but I'm like,
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't have a problem with Jerry West being the. I don't. Doesn't. I don't. Who gives a shit who the logo is? Anyway.
That's true.
All right. Everybody have a happy day. Colonel Shuckles and I are parting ways, and we will see you here next week. Woo!
I got a new podcast coming out today. Check it out.
Check out his